What's going on, guys? Afflicted Gamer here, back with another Division video, and today is the weekly reset for all of the vendors. Today is Friday, March 24th, so I figured I would show you guys the best of the best at all of the DZ checkpoints and safe houses across the map. So if this video is helpful in any way, a like would be super appreciated because these do take quite a bit of time to put together. And also I will mention quickly that there may be the odd blueprint or whatnot at one of these checkpoints that you may have available that I don't. I'm only mentioning that because last week the lightweight M4 was here 2 weeks in a row. I had already purchased it. I didn't see it. So yeah, I just thought I would do that. But for the most part, that will just be in Camp Hudson. Or sorry, not Camp Hudson, down in the hub at the base of operations. So just double check there in case I already have a blueprint that is missing. Alright, today we're going to start somewhere different. We are at the Park Ave DZ checkpoint. He has a 93R, 10.7k base damage. Yes, these drop everywhere in the open world, but it's got harmful as the extra talent on it, aside from expert, which comes on every sidearm. Showing this to you guys because the bleed status effect will pair up nicely with Predator's Mark. There is a tactical vector, 45 ACP. The vector is being used again, so I thought I would show this one to you guys. 19% crit chance, a little bit on the low side, but accurate, hurried, and adept are on it. I know some people are a fan of hurried and adept, and accurate actually has been pretty decent on weapons lately. A black market SASG 12 with self-preserved, brutal, and predatory. This would be a good PvE shotgun. 299 stagger. It could be a little bit higher. Base damage is 89.1. But then again, don't forget your damage will be a little bit different depending on how high your firearms are. Then we've got a first wave M1A. 169% headshot damage, which is pretty good. 50.9k base damage, skilled, balanced, and again, harmful. Not terrible rolls. Some people do like to go and stray away from the odd talents like brutal, destructive, and deadly and try to focus on other things. So, anyways, a good PvE M60, self-preserved, accurate, and adept. Again, 18.1k base damage and 12% damage to targets out of cover. So, not too bad. I do like the Park Ave checkpoint. Okay, moving on. Okay, so at the Crypt Safehouse, I realize that this is not one of the most used weapons in the game, but if you are running Alpha Bridge, you might decide to use this for the talents. There's classic FAL, 24.5k base damage, 19% enemy armor damage. That is a little bit on the low side, but the talents are pretty good. Brutal, deadly, and commanding. So anybody trying to burn through missions quickly with their signature ability up, like TAC Link, if you are running Lexington and you like assault rifles over LMGs, this is here. Just thought that I would show this to you guys.
Take care, and I'll see you around.
Alright, at the Firewall Safehouse, this guy actually has a half-decent prototype firearms mod, so anybody that doesn't have the blueprint, 261 firearms, which is, that's not too bad actually. It's on the better half of the scaling, not in the middle tier, so that's not bad. And 2,962 health. Yep, that could be brought up a little bit more, but honestly, this isn't a bad prototype firearms mod if you don't already have the blueprint. So I would pick that up if I didn't have one. And again, that is at the Firewall. So at the East 40th DZ checkpoint, just got a few half-decent items. For those of you that do like the Police MK17, there's one here with 170% headshot damage, 56.8k base damage with Adept, Meticulous, and Toxic. I know for the most part a lot of people like Brutal for on their snipers, but the blind status effect is nice, not having to refill your mag is nice, and that extra crit from Adept is also nice. So those of you running skill builds, this is, you know, an option for you guys. On top of that, there is a pretty decent recovered holster. Those of you that like to run skill haste instead of health as your major attribute, it's a little shy in the electronics department, which you could re-roll Granted that you do want to keep skill haste, but if not, you could roll skill haste off for health and keep it as is, and throw in a electronics mod if you do want to bump up your electronics. Finally, it's not the greatest, but there is a 4.5% ballistic shield damage resilience prototype performance mod for those of you that are running the defense gear set. So there's something to take a look at. Again, that's at East 40th Street. At the Grindhouse Safehouse, she does have a half decent ACR if you didn't buy the blueprint and you are a fan of this assault rifle. 18.8k base damage, 22% enemy armor damage with commanding, capable, and responsive. So again, those of you running skill builds that like the talent commanding and responsive, you know what, that's something to take a look at if you did not buy the blueprint. On top of that, there's a half decent high velocity mag with crit chance, reload speed, and crit damage for anybody that does actually use these, so I figured I would show you that. At the East 34th Street DZ checkpoint, this guy has a half decent SASG 12, 340% stagger, that's pretty good. 92.5k base damage with determined, destructive, and deadly. Obviously, you can reroll off determined. It's, I think, an underrated talent. I think it's half decent, but you could obviously reroll that off for brutal. Then you'd have quite a nice shotgun on your hands. There is a prototype performance mod with 5% sticky bomb explosion radius, so anybody running flashbang or even still sticky bomb, there is that there. Following that, an extended mag with 110.5% mag size, 4.5% reload speed, and 4% crit damage. I would prefer rate of fire in place of reload speed, but some people actually are speccing into reload speed for game modes like Last Stand. So I thought I would show you guys this at East 34th Street DZ checkpoint. Down in DZ01 at the East 31st Street checkpoint, she has a few okay items for sale. There is a M1911. I do know some people are a fan of this particular sidearm, expert and unforgiving. And a nice nibble holster. Now you would have to decide to re-roll off reload speed if you didn't want it there, or fix up the firearms. But other than that, 1259 stamina, 1254 electronics. This is a pretty decent nibble holster. There's an electronics mod with EDR for those of you that are still running that. Nothing too special. I would honestly skip it, but anybody that's desperate, that's here. But the highlight for sure is the nibble holster. Let's keep going.
Contamination event detected below street level.
So at the Madison stand Safehouse, he does have a half decent pair of accomplished knee pads. Now I would reroll all resistance for health. If you haven't seen the video I made about accomplished, I recommend that you guys check it out for the mere fact that if you want to stack up on your field proficiency caches a lot faster, grab yourself a pair of these knee pads and throw them on for PvE. Trust me, they will work wonders. On top of that, now 242 is on the low end of the spectrum, but there is a prototype stamina mod with over 3,000 health, 3,196, which isn't terrible. So if you're in desperate need of one and you don't have the blueprint, that is here to pick up. Alright guys, so again, at the 5th Ave DZ checkpoint, he's got some pretty good stuff here. There is a Paratrooper SVD with 161% headshot damage, 54k base damage, sustained, determined, and obviously disciplined. Pretty decent for PvE, I would say. Sustained, again, to me, is an underrated talent. And he has a pretty good refresh mask. What I would do is obviously change the firearms number and swap that into stamina or electronics, whatever it is you want to do with your build, because he does have 7% enemy armor damage and damage to elites. They may not be the full max percentage, but they are not a bad roll by any means. So I would take a look at that. There's also a prototype performance mod with, again, 4.5% ballistic shield damage resilience, and a reflex sight with 6.5% crit hit chance, 4% crit hit damage, and 6% headshot damage. So that right there is something worth picking up as well. At the Meat Locker Safe House, now for those of you that are still a fan of the military AK-47, he does have one here with 18% enemy armor damage, a little bit low, but 22.3k base damage with capable, swift, and competent in the free slot. So that's a given right there. If you want, you could obviously re-roll off Swift. If you don't care about the reload speed, keep capable, or vice versa, re-roll off the other one. So that's what we're taking a look at if you are a fan of the AK-47. And the scope is nothing too special, but I figured I would just show that to you guys anyway. Alright, moving on. At the Cavern Safehouse, he actually has some pretty good stuff here. I actually went past it. There is a pretty good Tenacious Mask, 1235 electronics, 7% enemy armor damage, and 13% increased kill XP. Not too bad at all. And he also has a prototype stamina mod, which is 265, nice, and 2964 skill power. Yep, that could be a little bit higher up into the 3000s, but it's not terrible. And if you are in need of one, there's one here available at the Cavern. At the DZ checkpoint at West 39th Street, this guy has some pretty good stuff. There is a nice PvE shotgun, in my opinion, Black Market SASG 12. 344.5% stagger, 92.7k base damage with predatory, dominant, and sustained. So anybody that likes to keep their health up or get health back from killing enemies, if you're running solo, then I would take a look at this. Also, there is a really good sturdy holster. Honestly, I recommend this for sure if you don't already have one. If you don't know what sturdy does, increase armor by 15% when staying in cover for more than 4 seconds in the same cover. So really all you have to do is get into any cover, don't move for 4 seconds, get an extra 15% armor. Trust me, you won't believe the difference. Just test it out anywhere in the open world, hop into cover and see that extra boost, pop out, shoot somebody, and let them shoot you actually, and see how much of a difference this holster makes. Really, really good. There is also a prototype stamina mod, 259 with over 3000 skill power. Again, anybody looking for a skill build, that's there, not too bad. And finally, an Omega rifle suppressor with 70% headshot damage, 3% crit chance, 2% accuracy, which I would prefer to be crit damage and reduce threat, but you know, it's there if you are in need of a suppressor. Alright, at the West 42nd Street DZ checkpoint, she's got some pretty good stuff. There's a PP19 here, 21% crit chance, not too bad, 17.3k base damage with fierce, brutal, and obviously the given on the PP19, hurried. Also a pretty good rejuvenated mask with 1216, which is a little bit on the low end for firearms, but you could reroll that if you like to keep health on kill and damage to elites. So again, any portion of your health back is always good, so that's up to you. But overall, not a bad mask. And a prototype performance mod with 6.5% turret health, so anybody running Firecrest, there's one there if you don't have one already. At the Wolves Den Safe House, he has a tactical SASG 12. Looks like it is the week of shotguns. 323% stagger with trained, capable, and ferocious. Ferocious being in the free slot. Pretty decent PvE shotgun for sure. You could reroll off trained for something else if you don't want to use that. Put brutal on there, deadly, destructive, whatever you so choose to. Not too bad. Anybody running the X45, if you do need a laser pointer, there's one here as well.
No big deal. See you around.
Okay, so save the best for last. We're finally here at the base of operations, and the weapons guy has a pretty decent AUG for you guys to take a look at since AUGs have made their way back. AUG Para XS with 22.5% crit hit chance, swift, brutal, and vicious. So I would take a look at that if you are in need of an AUG. It's a pretty nice one. Okay, so for the very last stop of the week, we're down here in the hub. There's some pretty good stuff down here. So over at the special blueprints vendor, there is yet again the ACR, same as last week. And this week there is the classic AK-47. Again, anybody a fan of that weapon, which was pretty popular when the game first came out, that is available here. And he also has a angled grip. I know some people like to pick those up. But over here is where the highlights are. The special equipment vendor. The Cassidy is actually really good this week, despite the 310% stagger, ferocious, destructive, and obviously boomstick, which is pretty cool. The Pecan, 11% damage to targets out of cover is only the part I don't really like about this, but 18.4k base damage, self-preserved, talented, which I would reroll off, and then Pecan. Not too bad at all. Again, self-preserved is very helpful in any scenario. The Centurion, usual, but Adept is the bottom talent this week. The Liberator, 24% enemy armor damage with Vicious, Focused, and Unforgiving. Get rid of Focused. It's a horrible talent. Put something else in there and you've got Vicious, Unforgiving, and Brutal, Deadly, Destructive, whatever the case may be. Good Liberator this week for sure. And the Historian. 171% headshot damage. The base damage, 39.4k. I wish that was a little bit higher, but anyways, harmful, competent, and then obviously history repeats. We all know how amazing the Historian is now, so you know what? Pick this thing up this week. We finally got a good roll on it. Again, there is another 93R with Fierce in the bottom slot. Another AUG, but this one's a tactical with Adept, Accurate, and Hurried. You could get rid of Accurate for something else. G36 Enhanced with Skilled, Capable, and Focus. It's not that great, but I just figured I'd show you guys the rest of the stuff here. Another Shotgun, Ferocious, Predatory, and Talented. I would get rid of Talented. Predatory is a lot more helpful than you guys would think. There is a Black Market E60. Swift, Sustained, and Talented. Again, I would get rid of Talented, keep Sustained and Swift, and you've got a decent PvE M60, 14% damage to targets out of cover, not too bad at all. Rehabilitated Mask, it's not the greatest, and the rest of the gear, I'll let you guys decipher what you think is best out of this. Depends on what build you're running, but, excuse my voice, you could just pick whatever you want out of there. Finally, a extended magazine, wow, 110.5% mag size, 2.5% crit chance and reload speed. It's not the greatest by any means, but if you don't have the blueprint, that's the only reason why I'm showing that to you guys. So anyways, there's everything for this week. I really hope that this was helpful, and if it was, please go ahead and drop a like on the video because these do take quite a bit of time to put together. I hope it was helpful, though. There are some nice things. There's some things that I will be picking up for sure. Also, if you are new to the channel, I hope that you will consider subscribing for more Division content like this and much more on the way. You can follow me on Twitter at AfflictedGamer. The stream times here on YouTube will be at the end of the video. And also, I have finally created a Facebook page, which it's a work in progress, but it's there. So Afflicted Gamer is on YouTube, on Facebook. So it's a community page, for gamers on Xbox, PS4, whatever the case is, to all come together, show off your builds if you need help, another way to just communicate with you guys. So that is up there as well. So hopefully you guys will check that out. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your week. Grab these things that you need. If there is a blueprint that I miss, it's only because I have it. So just pay a visit to this guy if you didn't want the AK-47 or the ACR, just in case. There is something that I already have, and it just won't appear for me. Other than that, guys, take care. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon in the next video. I think that's so cheesy, but I had to do it because I like my Firecrest hat. Alright, guys, take care.